This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And there will be spoilers for this movie, so let's go straight into it. And oh boy, this movie, it's not just bad, it's so bad that it makes the Michael Bay movies. I mean, they don't make them look, good, but they make them look at least decent, at least the second one, because first Michael Bay movie isn't really awful, but the second one is a pretty bad movie. I have watched it recently, and yeah, honestly, the this movie wasn't so bad it made those look pretty good. And I am more of a casual TMNT fan. I will watch the occasional movie, and I'm currently watching for the first time, at least in its completion, the Nickelodeon Ninja Turtle show. And I just think that from what I've learned and knowing about the characters, this just changed so much of them and made some characters less interesting. As in my opinion, the most interesting character in Ninja Turtles is Splinter, with his backstory being one of Shredder's former friends and them splitting apart and the rivalry causing a pretty big destruction. And I think that is really an impressive and interesting backstory, but this and the Michael Bay films decided to just make him be some random rat that finds the Ninja Turtles. But unlike the Michael Bay films, which at least have a decent villain in the Shredder, this one has a pretty awful villain in Superfly, who is basically just a knockoff of Baxter Stockman without any of the, I don't want to say interesting, but the parts that make Stockman unique, where he's kind of just like a loser that's always being pushed around. And here he's just generic bad guy, and that just doesn't even begin to say just how bad it was. It's also really odd that they had Baxter Stockman, who is typically a villain, be kind of a good guy in this, and for him to die really early into it. And going back to Splinter, it just feels like this is sort of what the opposite of Splinter usually feels like, even in the Michael Bay films where he isn't specifically the character he usually is, but in there at least he's a mentor and is willing to have the turtles fight and for them to defend people. Here, Splinter is just he's just like an overbearing parent who only taught them martial arts off of like YouTube videos to be able to have them protect themselves. And yeah, honestly, this movie, it just did basically everything wrong. None of the characters were extremely likable, and with the exception of Michelangelo, the other Ninja Turtles just all felt like the same character generally, where their personalities will sort of pop in every once in a while, but honestly, if they didn't have the masks on, I couldn't, and didn't have, their iconic weapons, I would not be able to tell the difference generally between Leonardo, Raphael, and Donatello. But yeah, honestly, this film, it also was just more pop culture references and stuff than anything. The only thing I liked about the movie is having the director at the front, thinking people coming to the theater. But really, besides that, and an occasional funny moment, which was really rare in this, I genuinely just hated seeing this movie. And as I said, the Michael Bay films, which were the previous worst versions of the Turtles, at least from what I've seen, look so much better in comparison to this. I really, as I said, did not enjoy this. I would much rather really have watched anything else because this was just completely awful. And I will have a review of the Michael Bay films probably next week, but it'll still be another month or two before I review the entire Ninja Turtles show from Nickelodeon because I'm only watching like 2 or 3 episodes a night. And after I watch those, I usually don't have too much more time, but I am going to get through it probably in the next month or two, and really can't wait for that review to come out. But honestly, I want to know what you think. What do you think of this film and its potential? Because honestly, even with Shredder coming in, I'm not even as excited for that because it feels like they're going to change a lot about Shredder and just have him be some kind of mercenary working for TCRI, which has also changed from being basically like a front for the Krang or just some kind of thing connected to more established characters too, who, as far as I know, is a completely original character for this, and it just so disappointing that the Shredder, who is their Joker or Lex Luthor, or their main villain, only gets a single scene in this, no speaking lines or anything, and it just seems that he's going to be a basic mercenary. So yeah, honestly, this franchise went off to a horrible start. The cast is fine, and generally don't mind them. They do a good job, and they're really not too annoying. It's just the writing and the story and just their thoughts on this were completely awful. I would so much rather have had them really do anything else with this. And they're obviously going to be making sequels for this, and I really hope they do turn it around because has had the worst Ninja Turtles really think I've seen. And even though I'm not the biggest Ninja Turtles fan, I did watch the original show when I was younger. I am, as I said, currently in the middle of watching the Nickelodeon show, and I've also been watching a few of the movies, and I haven't seen the older ones, but I've seen the 2000, I think, 8 film, which I'm also planning on watching soon and reviewing, but also just a few other films, and yeah, honestly, as I said, this was just truly a terrible movie, and I really think that they could have done so much better. But I want to know what you think. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.